Like Austin?
Yes!
All right, a bunch of unemployed people in the house. You know, the really sad thing is I think I used that joke on the live record, and tonight is being recorded for a live record. So...
I want to have your abortion!
You want to have my abortion? I'm not even sure I know what that means. Okay, you know what? Since we did get into brains, and since we did get into Cartoon Network, I think I will tell you a story. Is it okay to tell you a quick story? This is a very good friend of mine. He lives in New York City. His name is Dave Foodin. He's here somewhere. And he's probably at the bar, which is why he didn't scream yell. Dave was wearing, when he walked in, he was, oh yeah, there he is. He yelled Freebird because he's from New York, which means that he's a hick somehow. I can't keep up with the irony, to be honest with you. He came to the show tonight, and he was wearing a Venture Brothers shirt. I want to tell you all a quick story about the Venture Brothers.
It's the best show ever! Best show ever!
About 20 years ago, there was a young man, we'll call him Doc Hammer.
Yeah!
He was in a band called Requiem in White. When I first moved to New York City around 1984 or so, you know, I came in contact with him, and he thought there was something really wrong with me. It probably had something to do with the fact that I was a Durrani. For those of you who don't know what that is, I realize it's a different decade. It means I was a big fan of Duran Duran. I had blonde bangs, purple eyeshadow. I ain't gonna lie, I'll put the shit on my MySpace too. I will not fucking lie. I will represent. I did not wear pants for my first like 10 years in New York City. I wore spandex tights, and I was all Union of the Snake is on the climb. And this guy, Doc Hammer, man, he hated my fucking guts because I was not really goth, you know. And then eventually I got to, you know, listening to The Cure and Bauhaus and Susie, and I got really into like the old school guy. Dyed my hair all black, and you know, he had long black hair, and I had silver streaks in my hair, and he had silver streaks in his hair. And whenever I would go places, people apparently would confuse us. And now when people would walk up to me and say, "Are you Doc Hammer?" I would say, "No, I'm Voltaire. Very nice to meet you." But apparently when people would say, "Are you Voltaire?" to Doc Hammer, he would just completely lose his fucking shit. Hey, how dare you? I am the real goth. He is a clown. This went on for 20 years. I am not fucking kidding. This went on for 20 years. So maybe about 3 years ago, I was walking through Soho, which is a part of New York City, and I was walking with my son, and I looked up, and I saw Doc Hammer, and he looked at me, and he looked a little stunned, and he was like, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he was like, fine." Looked very apprehensive. I said, "How have you been?" He goes, "You know how I've been." And I really don't know how you've been. I said, "You know I have a TV show now." "I didn't know you had a TV show." "You know I have a show." I was like, "You know, I don't own a television set, but I think that's fantastic. Congratulations. What's the show called?" He goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake, come on." You know, Venture Brothers. I was like, "Well, that's great. Is it animated or live action?" "It's animated." And the whole time he's looking at me like, you're lying. Like, I know you know about all of this shit. I know you research every detail of my life on a daily basis. I know you Google me daily. So I just kind of looked at him and I said, "That is fantastic. I am so proud of you. I am so happy for you. That is the greatest news I've heard in a long time. What channel is it on?" He goes, Cartoon Network, come on. Oh, well, that's really fucking great. You know what? I don't own a TV, but I'm gonna get one. I wanna see your show. I think that's fantastic. Well, anyway, listen, it was really good seeing you, and I'll catch you later, okay? Bye. And he went, bye. And I walked away. The next day, I got an email on the MySpace from a young lady who said, oh my God, you have got to go to the Venture Brothers blog on LiveJournal and see what Doc Hammer's saying about you. So I went, because I have nothing going on in my life. And it said, my life is over. Today I ran into my nemesis, Voltaire. And he didn't even seem remotely mad at me. I think he's had a child and now he's moved on and doesn't care. He doesn't wish to arch me anymore. I still don't even know what that means. So, you know, he said, my life is now meaningless. So I wrote him an email. And I said, Mr. Hammer, I have known you for over 20 years. We have kind of come up together in the goth scene, in the underground New York goth scene. And I've always liked you, and I've never had anything against you. And I think that's fantastic. You have a show. We should do something. I get a reply that's like, don't ever email me ever again. As we speak, I am building anti-Voltaire missiles to put on top of my anti-Voltaire fan. I was like, okay, whatever. So a couple months go by. And I was doing a convention. It was the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors in Santa Monica or someplace in California. And these two kids came up to me, and one of them was wearing a Venture Brothers shirt. And I said, you're a fan of the Venture Brothers? And he said, yeah. I said, man, have I got a story about Doc Hammer. He's like, well, what is it? And I told him and his girlfriend the story that I just told all of you. And they looked at each other and looked back at me and looked at each other and looked back at me and said, oh my God, you're the Monarch. What's a monarch? And they said, oh my God, it's their arch nemesis on the show. It's the Monarch. You're him. He based the Monarch on you. And I said, oh my God, that's awesome. What's he like? Well, he's tall and thin. And I said, yeah. There's a goatee. I said, yeah. And he wears a butterfly costume and is dating a dude. And I was like, what? Hammer! So I emailed him. Because that's what I do. And I said, Doc Hammer, I just heard this story, and if it's true, I am fucking thrilled. I think it's great. I have a great sense of humor. I think it's fantastic. I write songs for a show called The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And if you ever want a song for the Monarch, I will write it and I will perform it for free. And he emailed me back and he said, how dare you think that I would waste a second of my time creating a character based on you? Don't be fooled, it's me.